Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Andre Rebelo. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Andre Zachary Rebelo was born in 1996 and lived in Perth, Australia. This is in Western Australia. He was raised by his mother, Colleen, and his father, Antonio. Andre had three siblings, Julian, Monique, and Fabian. In 2010, his parents divorced. As an adult, Andre worked as a Kohl's supermarket delivery driver and attended college, where he studied construction management. In 2016, he became romantically involved with a woman named Gracie Piscopo. She had worked as a receptionist at a gym, but found success as a social media influencer and model. Gracie posted images of herself on Instagram. Eventually, she accrued over 1 million followers. Instead of completing college, Andre dropped out to become Gracie's assistant for $20,000 a year. One of his jobs involved negotiating brand deals. When Andre and Gracie had a son, Andre stayed at home and took care of him. By 2020, Gracie was earning $170,000 a year. Perhaps as a way of feeling like he was contributing, Andre became involved in cryptocurrency. He promoted himself as an expert. The couple appeared to be successful, at least based on what they posted on Instagram. They drove luxurious vehicles, took exotic vacations, and lived an opulent lifestyle. There's the sense that they were promoting an image of perfection and success. Even though Gracie was earning a lot of money, the couple's lifestyle was too extravagant. They paid $880 a week to rent a 2-story townhouse in the Perth suburb of Beaconsfield, and they took out a loan to buy a Range Rover. They were running up credit card debt at an astounding rate. The couple took advantage of a reduced loan repayment program meant for those experiencing hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Andre insisted to Gracie that despite their financial situation, brighter days were ahead. He promised that he was about to hit it big with a $500,000 cryptocurrency deal. Not surprisingly, the money never arrived. As all this was going on, Andre stayed in regular contact with his mother, Colleen. She lived in Bicton, Australia, which is an upscale suburb of Perth. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On May 25, 2020, at about 10 a.m., 58-year-old Colleen Rebelo dropped off her youngest son, Fabian, at a local supermarket where he worked. Colleen was supposed to pick him up at 2 p.m., but she never did. When Fabian managed to get back home, he found his mother unresponsive in the shower. Fabian called 000 at 2:40 p.m. This is the main emergency service number in Australia, like 911 in the U.S. Here is what the police found during the course of their investigation. When Fabian found his mother in the shower, the water was running and she was not wearing any clothing. Colleen had makeup on her face, her hair was tied up, and she was wearing quite a bit of jewelry, including a gold watch. An autopsy was performed, but Colleen's cause of death could not be determined. The police assumed that she died from one of her medical conditions or some other non-homicidal cause. They had no intention of investigating the case any further, but this changed after an insurance company contacted them about a claim that Colleen's son, Andre, had filed. After following up on this report, the police learned that Andre had purchased 3 life insurance policies just a few days before his mother died. The policies had a combined value of $1.15 million. Andre Rebelo was the sole beneficiary for 2 of the policies. The third policy did not specify a beneficiary. Starting just 3 days after his mother died, Andre made multiple attempts to collect on the policies. For the largest policy, which was worth $500,000, Andre engaged in fraudulent behavior. For example, he fabricated a will for his mother and forged her signature, emailed a fake coroner's finding of death, and used a voice generator and phone number spoofing service to impersonate a mental health professional. This was to convince the insurance company that Colleen was not thinking about bringing an end to her own life. When the police confronted Andre, he claimed that he had purchased the policies at his mother's request. His intent was to share the money with his 3 siblings. Ultimately, Andre never received any of the money, and on October 20, 2020, he was charged with fraud. On March 31, 2022, Andre declared bankruptcy. Considering the nature of the fraud that Andre perpetrated, the police came to believe that he killed his mother for money. He must have smothered Colleen or otherwise killed her using a method that was impossible to detect. On November 22, 2022, Andre Rebelo was charged with murder. In 2024, he pleaded guilty to 4 counts of fraud and will be sentenced in 2025 for those offenses. But Andre maintained his innocence as far as the murder. The murder case went to trial in October 2024. Andre testified in his own defense. He said that he visited his mother Colleen in the late morning on the day she died, and they talked about insurance policies. Colleen mentioned that she had a life insurance policy after she separated from Andre's father. She was very stressed and made a comment like, "It would be better if I was gone." Andre was there from 10:40 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. After his mother died, he was anxious to collect on the policies because he thought the insurance companies might be resistant to paying if they suspected his mother caused her own death. On December 5, 2024, Andre Rebelo was found guilty of murder. His sentencing is scheduled for April 4, 2025. The minimum penalty is life in prison with the possibility of parole after 10 years. Now moving to my analysis. Andre Rebelo maintains his innocence. He admitted to the fraud, but denies involvement in his mother's murder. The Crown, of course, disagrees. They argue that Andre had a motive to kill in the form of money. This brings me to the question, was Andre guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that he was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. At the time of Colleen's death, Andre owed $40,000 in credit card debt. His girlfriend Gracie owed $40,000 in taxes. Together, the couple owed $70,000 on a Range Rover. The payments on that vehicle and their rent payments were late on a regular basis. The couple was in serious financial trouble, but Gracie was not aware of the extent of the problems because Andre handled all the finances. A few days before his mother died, Andre took out 3 life insurance policies for $1.15 million. He claimed that his mother requested this, but the policies were configured so that Andre was paying the premiums. Ultimately, Andre pleaded guilty to fraud. Colleen died sometime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on May 25, 2020. Her body was found in her shower. It seems odd that she was wearing a lot of jewelry, especially a gold watch. Initially, Andre never mentioned anything about seeing his mother that day, even when he was standing around with his siblings in her home while emergency services were there. One might expect him to say something like, "I just saw Colleen a few hours ago and she was fine." But Andre didn't say anything. Only later did he admit being at his mother's residence from 10:40 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. Gracie called Andre 6 times between 11:10 a.m. and 11:15 a.m. None of those calls were answered. She then sent text messages to Andre. For example, she wrote, "Answer your blanking phone. Where are you? Do you not have a phone? What is wrong with you? Answer for blank sake." And, "I'm fuming at you. I'm so angry." She called him 7 more times between 11:17 a.m. and 11:25 a.m. Still no answer. If Andre was simply visiting his mother, why didn't he answer the phone? Colleen's cause of death is not known, but medical experts said that it was unlikely she died suddenly from the medical conditions she had at the time of her death. These conditions were simply not associated with somebody dying out of the blue. As far as what could have killed her, Colleen had minor injuries which could have been caused by someone suffocating her. For instance, an abrasion on her eyebrows and some bruising and abrasions on her hands, arms, and legs. Moving to the exculpatory factors, investigators do not know how Colleen died. She may have been asphyxiated, but there are other possibilities that do not involve murder. For example, a cardiac problem, a seizure, or an allergic reaction. If this was a murder, Andre wasn't necessarily the killer. Somebody else could have entered Colleen's residence and murdered her. Maybe she was murdered after 11:30 a.m. when Andre left, but before 2 p.m. when she failed to pick up her son Fabian. That's pretty much it for exculpatory factors. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Andre Rebelo was guilty of murder? Yes, he was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. It seems clear that he killed his mother to collect on the insurance policies he purchased just days earlier. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Andre was self-centered, impulsive, irresponsible, manipulative, deceptive, cold, callous, greedy, hedonistic, sensation-seeking, shallow, envious, grandiose, and had a sense of entitlement. When Andre became romantically involved with Gracie, he was stunned by how much she earned as a social media influencer. He saw this as a chance to be part of something massive and successful, to live a life of luxury without having to work hard. He gave up on college to support Gracie's social media empire. Gracie earned the money, and Andre managed their finances. A major part of Gracie's brand was how she was living a life of luxury. The images she posted reflected a carefree and extravagant lifestyle. Despite earning quite a bit of money, the couple was not making enough to fund the lifestyle they projected. They were given free flights, lodging, and products from sponsors, but that didn't pay the bills. Andre kept telling himself that Gracie was about to hit it big. During his trial, he testified that Gracie could earn $8,000 a post, and her brand was growing exponentially. He believed it would be a $1 million enterprise someday. As Gracie was becoming more popular, Andre was trying to build his own income and legacy. He told his girlfriend that he was going to make it big in cryptocurrency. However, a financial audit revealed that Andre only made $22 in profit in 3 years of trading. He knew that he was a failure, but he did not want to admit it. Andre told Gracie that a big cryptocurrency deal was on the way, which would yield $500,000, but he knew this was a lie. He had something else in mind to make the money: murdering his mother. Andre killed his mother in a manner where her cause of death was not obvious. He probably suffocated her. After this, he made a clumsy effort to collect on the insurance policies he had purchased just before the murder. The police planted recording devices in Andre's residence after he was charged with fraud, but before he was charged with murder, the recordings captured some interesting statements. It was clear from the recordings that Gracie did not know what Andre was up to. When talking about the fraud charges against Andre, Gracie expressed concern that she put too much financial pressure on him and said to him, quote, "I thought you were so smart," unquote. This is a great example of an assumption being made without any evidence. Now moving to my final thoughts. The rise of the Instagram influencer and model phenomenon is worrisome in many ways. Many of these content creators simply post photographs of themselves wearing bathing suits, lingerie, or other sparse clothing options. The posts are often accompanied by mindless and meaningless captions about their daily activities. It's all about promoting this image of perfection and luxury, like standing in front of a lake, a mountain, or on a beach somehow proves they are successful. People should want to be like them. This is what success looks like. This phenomenon is really about self-promotion and placing appearance above substance, as if simply pretending to be successful makes a person successful in reality. All it takes to be a star is having a sufficient quantity of selfies. The only thing that these Instagram models do well is document their own shallowness and their lack of wisdom. A person can have 1 million followers, but 0 sense. No matter how deeply they invest in the fantasy, influencers cannot escape the real world. In the case of Andre Rebelo, the financial reality of his girlfriend's brand caught up with him, but he did not want to give up the image. Andre looked around for a source of income and realized he could make money by killing his mother. This is how cold and callous he was, how focused he was on his objective of obtaining glory, fame, and money. Andre was only interested in himself. Ironically, his mother Colleen did not think much of social media influencers and models. She believed that Andre was going to fail someday soon and would be forced to find another way to make money. Little did she know how accurate her prediction was. It's not all bad news for Andre. He now serves as an unlikely source of inspiration for those aspiring to fail spectacularly. He proved that with enough misplaced ambition and a total disregard of morality, any man can achieve a trifecta of anti-success: an underpaid boyfriend turned assistant, a failed cryptocurrency tycoon, and a bungling matricidal fraudster. Those are my thoughts in the case of Andre Rebelo. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Just a reminder that I have over 300 pre-release videos on Patreon. When I put videos in pre-release status, they usually stay that way for months, if not a year. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video.